Then I'm excited, dude. I'm ready, man. Are you?
Yeah, I'm all ready.
All right, let's do this. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Lone Wolv Podcast. I'm your host, Wolfson, and today we got a special guest in the building. We got another indie artist into the podcast scene. We rarely get one of those, but when we do, man, we'll make them feel special. Please say hello to the one and only David. Let's go.
Hello, thanks so much for having me.
No, of course. How are you, David?
I'm good. I'm just chilling. I had like Mexican food before this, so I'm full. And chilling for the rest of the day. So
well, that's good to hear. I hope that Mexican food doesn't, do you dirty during our interview.
No, I have a strong stomach, so like nothing gets me sick.
Really?
Yeah.
So let's just say that you actually can withstand, anything that's dairy and spicy food.
Yeah, no, my manager will tell you, like, Amanda, I can eat jalapenos as a snack. I can handle spicy. Like, it's good.
God damn! So I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this show, The Hot Ones.
Oh my god! If I get big enough, like I want to do it so bad. Like I want to.
When you get big enough. That's the mentality. That's the mentality.
Thank you. Yeah.
When you get big enough. Do you see that a lot of the episodes?
I've seen all of them. I watched.
Oh, me too. I love Sean Evans, man. Some of the stuff that I learned from as an interviewer, I get it from Sean Evans and a bunch of other podcasters, But I love his style of interviewing artists and celebrities is like golden. It's like he actually found the magic touch to get that show running, and it just found a fun way for everybody to just like have fun, Well,
yeah,
I mean, at the expense of eating, hot chicken wings or
yeah. Oh my gosh.
What has been like your hottest, take on any of the spicy food?
I did eat it. Okay, actually, the spiciest thing I've had, I had a ghost pepper, like right off.
Oh,
yeah.
Yo, you wild.
Okay, that was spicy. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that was spicy, but it was not as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
What?
Yeah.
It's a ghost pepper. How bad? What?
No, it wasn't bad at all. Like, I was expecting to die. Like, at first, like, I was freaking out because like my tongue, like I could feel it and it was getting spicy. But then I was like, I've had like hot sauce hotter than this. Like, and this is spicy. So yeah.
The fact that you said that you had hot sauce is spicier than that already scares me.
Yeah. And and then to this day, like I've never like thrown up. I've never had to like go to the bathroom. Like it was like I have strong stomach. Like I'm good.
And you didn't have to take any waters or any milk or anything that to dilute the heatness out of your mouth or not.
I mean, I had to have some water, but other than that, like I was fine. Like I was good. Dude,
you're a brave soul. I'll tell you that right now. You catch me doing that, I'll be crying. I don't know why I still do it to this day. But maybe because I like the pain. I don't know the experience. Let's have the giggles out of it. But I actually had the bomb.
Where's that from?
That's from the Hot One show. The bomb, the actual sauce. That's like the third to last one, the one that has like a little nuclear bomb. That's the one that he always puts. I say like, oh, that's the worst one. I agree. I agree. It's the worst one. I'm not even fucking with you. That is literally the worst one. And it's all because I won a bet, but I said myself like, man, I don't know when is the next time I'm gonna even try this. So it's like, let me just join in. And we had our chicken tenders with it, and we dipped it all around, and we just hate it. It did not took no more than 2 seconds to already feel the spices out of it.
Gosh, dude, that's crazy. Like I feel like I don't know, because my favorite one was Elizabeth Olsen's, where she did it. And she was completely fine, like the whole time. And I was like, okay, if she can do it, maybe I can do it. So
yeah, but it's not the same thing. Like I see a lot of people that like they can take it and be like, oh, this is fine. And there's a lot that you say like, this guy can take it. This guy, and you see them cry. Like Gordon Ramsay. He went there twice and he still was crying afterwards. He's like, oh, bloody hell. I shut myself up to this. What the fuck is this?
That was funny. I have to admit, that was good.
Yeah, no, like I'll tell you, it's not funny taking the bomb sauce, like, nah, bro. Like dude, it took like at least a good 20 minutes. And then I remember my aunt was cleaning up and she accidentally scratched her head and it landed on her eyes.
Oh no.
That's how deadly that shit is. That is a no joke. No joke. No. That's like no, bro. That will fuck you up.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to build my way up there. Like I'll have to start training my mouth.
Hey, start doing it. Start doing it. Start small. Wasabi. Start with us wasabi.
Ooh, I love wasabi.
I was joking around. I didn't actually felt that. I didn't know that you were actually like, oh yeah, I could dig with wasabi. That's nothing.
No, I love wasabi. I put it on all my like sushi. I do it. Yeah, no, I love wasabi.
Yeah, no. You might actually be a challenge for the sauce. Well, that's good. I mean, that's good. I mean, you should try it. You should definitely try it. If you ever get a chance to get that sauce, try it out and try out the last dab. I'm pretty sure that's like the most spiciest of them all. I haven't tried it, but I'm like so eager to get the freaking bottle and just like mess everybody's day off,
I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
So, well, first things first, I actually want to get into you. Let's start with like, how did this whole shindig started with you? This whole journey with you as an indie artist, like what actually got you into it? Can you give us like a little bio about yourself and how you work yourself up to where you are right now?
Yeah. So funny enough, like, I'm a little bit different than most artists because, most of the stories is like, oh, I started out in church, or I've been doing it my whole life, or I've been singing since I was 5. No, I did not do any of those things. Like I started like in college. Like I loved music growing up, but I never like did anything. Like I didn't take lessons. I didn't sing. I didn't do anything. And then growing up, like, when I was in middle school, I did choir and stuff like that, but it was very basic. Like I never did anything. I still didn't want to be a singer. And I just like loved it. Like it was really fun. And it wasn't until college actually that I kind of made the decision that I want to make it like a career. And so I went to college studying musical theater and like opera, like classical music. And that's what I was going to do. Like I was like, I'm going to try to be on Broadway. I want to be like on, perform at, big opera houses, whatever. And that quickly died after I changed my major to philosophy. And I was obsessed. Like my mind was open to different, fields of study and critical thinking and like ethics and metaphysics and morality. And it was just amazing. And surprisingly, that is what made me want to become an artist. Like that, studying all those things. And I was like, the world is so like void of people understanding one another. And like it's so funny because like the easiest way to fix everything is just to shift in perspective. And the fact that humans don't know how to do the easiest thing to have the easiest solution. It's like, that's so big of a problem. It's not even funny. So I was like, I want to be part of the solution and I want to become an artist, not for, myself, but one, because I love it. And two, because I really think I have the ability to create connections between people. And I want to, build connections, make songs that, connect with people. And that's just what I love. And ever since I was young, like even my mom, like she encouraged me to always talk about my feelings, to, look at things from different perspectives. And it just really inspired me. And I take all of that with me up to now. And that's basically how I got here. So, and I, everything I've learned from watching, YouTube videos or trial and error or getting advice
Academy, huh?
Yeah, honestly, anything you can learn from YouTube Academy, like seminars that they send you like in the emails that nobody reads. I go to them, like I watch them, like I learn everything about everything.
It's very, very interesting that you say that, because like that's like a field that I get to see people, go to that direction and become a musical inspiration out of it. Philosophy, that's very rare. I've only known and met a few people who are that philosophical. I would not consider myself philosophical, but some of the aspects of being a philosopher, I tend to follow those steps without even knowing what philosophy is or what it does, because I definitely get how shitty the world is, and we have to like think about if the shoe was on the other foot. Right. Wouldn't you see that perspective in a way? And that's how I try to think everything else. Is like I try to understand everybody's point of view. Like, let's just say that I'm the moderator of two people fighting. It's like, you're this, and that. No, you're this and that. It's like, that you say that he's like that. Oh, because of that. Okay. So why you say that he's like that? Oh, because of that. It's like, I'm trying to understand what their point of views and their perspectives, so I can, because I feel like as humans, it's much more better for us to understand each other than to bicker and fight with each other, and two things that can connect humans is between understanding each other's perspectives and feelings and music. Like, when have you ever not seen someone doing a musical performance and not nobody show up? Right. Everybody stands together when there's a music performance. Like, hey, like even like if we take it to the mainstream shit, like look at the fucking Super Bowl, Super Bowl, there's always a halftime show. And whether people like or dislike the halftime show, it's a musical performance in which everybody, the whole world is paying attention and watching. Right. Music is like that, it brings people together, and trying to understand others people's feelings and perspective is actually a very great way to do it as an artist, So that's actually pretty cool that you're actually doing some of that stuff, And what other aspirations that you do as you take your journey as an artist to go with this philosophical route? Because I'm actually very curious a little bit more about that.
I don't know. I just want to, I guess, I don't know if there is a goal. Like, I just know that right now, like,
it just feels right.
Yeah. Like I don't have a goal where it's like, I want everyone to think this way, or I want everyone to do that. Like, I just want, like my constant, drive is just connecting. Like I know a lot of artists say that, like, and I agree that it's true that some people do that. But in my case, it's like, I'm so serious about it. Like when I go to places and I meet new people, I tell them my life story from this first second. Like, I'm that kind of person. Like, I'm like, if we're going to connect, we're going to connect, right, and we're not going to just like talk about the weather. Yeah. So, like I just love stuff like that. And obviously, there's people who feel more comfortable talking about certain things, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like first of all, life is too short to not talk about everything and to like not know where you stand in certain situations. And and a lot of the times, like, not knowing scares a lot of people. Like, some people just don't want to think about things, and some people are too scared to go to certain topics and things like that. And I'm like, but that's where growth is. It's usually in the place where people are too scared to visit. And I love having those really difficult conversations because, you come out of them with this insight, and you end up, learning things about yourself and other people and the world and, things around you. And it's just like so eye-opening, and you just become a better person. And, you just have no choice but to want to, encourage other people to do the same. So, that's just my goal, is just to, spread knowledge and understanding, and just have people be, the most utopian version of kindness and understanding and togetherness. So
it's cool. That's actually pretty cool to hear, and and in certain ways, how you were describing about it is like you and me have a lot of similarities and common ground when it comes to stuff like that. One of the major reasons why I started my own podcast is not just to have my own therapy and start talking a lot and ranting shit, and talk about myself, because if I tell you I got stories, I got stories, I mean, I started my career doing this podcast game, because of all the stories that I have. But halfway there, I started interviewing people, and it just snowballed into making lots of interviews in which I never planned it. I never planned it to begin with to be an interview. And now I'm just so eager and excited to doing these interviews because it gets me the opportunity to listen to the voices of those who don't have voice, or people who don't have like the platform, yes, and putting them out there as much as I can with my power. It's like it fulfills me, it fulfills me, the fact that I could just sit down and talk to a stranger, complete stranger that I've never met other than through social media, and have a sit down and have a conversation. I enjoyed that more than anything, more than even when I started making music, more than when I started DJing, more than any of that stuff, man. And because it's like, it shows like how much we are all alike, different perspectives, different backgrounds, different countries. You can say that I've interviewed people internationally, people that I've never would have guessed I would have ever interviewed, or people would never thought that possible for them themselves to like, oh my God, somebody did notice me, It brings a lot of joy. And I do my best to support them as much as I can, So it's like, I'm trying to do this whole thing with the podcast to bring people together, no matter how little or how big or how established, like it don't matter. Everybody's welcome in this podcast, So it's like, it's just like that. I just love talking to people because I want to hear their stories, the stories that you barely get to hear. Like you barely get to hear a story from an artist that, had to go through some shit and then have it publicized it for the whole world to know. Yeah. It's hard. You don't get those conversations. Usually you get those conversations with your buddies or, with the people surrounding you. Like you hardly people who are fans of you don't know your struggle, don't know like all the shit that you've been dealing with, all the shit that you have dealt with, And that's why I give this platform that way. So that way people don't just see you as like, hey, this is a superstar god that I've been admiring for all my life. Like, no, human beings just like you and me, just like anyone else, They're human at the end of the day, Like we put it on a pedestal, but remember they're still humans, And that's a mindset that I want people to be like open-minded about it and understand all the struggles that they're coming from. And if they ever want to come to this industry that we're dealing with, like it carries some of the baggage. So it's stuff that you need to be aware of, Right. I've interviewed people from, locals to up-and-comers to established big-time people. And it's funny that's because my intentions to up-and-comers and people who are starting now or trying to make it to the scene is always to help them and guide them as much as possible and let them know it's like, hey, here are the ropes. This is what I did. Try not to do what I did. Do better than me. Do something that's definitely not the direction that I took. And the big established artists, I never intend to even, teach them anything because, hey, they're already established. What the hell do they need me? But there are times in which, like, holy shit, like, I can't believe I helped this guy in some shape or way, So it's like, okay, so there it is, I always learned this from this guy, Charlemagne the God from the Breakfast Club and the Brilliant Idiots. And he says, a wise man learns from his own mistakes. A wiser man learns from other people's mistakes. And this is my take. The wisest man learns from both. So it's Absolutely. Like, so we're trying to, encourage and help people out and have people to be wiser than us, So, so they don't have to commit the same mistakes that we did, because, this industry is very cutthroat. Not many people know that. They only see the pretty side. They barely see what goes behind the scenes, you know? Now, I don't know how the indie side really is, but have you ever, you know, encountered any of that stuff or any of those struggles in the indie scene?
Yeah, no, the only struggles that I've really had with anything like that, there have been some artists that I've met or people that I've had to talk to where they're not their goal, but their intentions are a little bit off. Like they're not really want them to be, like, just they're not good people. Like sometimes, you know, the people are just doing things for the wrong reasons, and you come across them and you learn not to, you know, who you trust and who you let in your circle and who you work with. So that's basically the only thing that I've experienced as an indie artist. Everything else is kind of just like fine because, you know, I'm so, you know, Amanda and I are so autonomous. Like we just do everything on our own. So it's like we just have to rely on ourselves. So there's not really anything to worry about. But usually the only times that happens is if, like, you know, we make a wrong call and we just work with the wrong person, but it's like sometimes you never know and it happens.
So we actually have a lot more in common than we thought, you know, dealing with dealing with shady people in the world, man. It's sad. It's sad that it has to be like this, but most of the time it stands on a business standpoint. And what we believe that music should always come first, business comes first in all this. There's always a business transaction in all this, and it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate because I look at talent always triumphs anything.
Right.
Like the only way I'm gonna look at you is if you have the talent. If you have the talent and your music is great, then shit, you got my attention. But if I ever find out that, you know, you're fake and everything is just bought and then you don't have zero talent, it's just autotune and shit, or have someone ghost produce for your music, then it's sayonara. And believe it or not, it's very easy for me to know whether you're full of it or you're not. Like it only takes a few conversations for me to have with you to understand whether you're fake or not. And it only takes one word of mouth from one person saying like, oh, I got this person. It's like, oh, you did? Oh, yeah, I did his work. I was like, you did his work? What do you mean you did his work? It's like, oh, yeah, I did his beat last week. You know, he done his thing. It's like, oh, really? You don't say, huh? People don't realize how small the music industry really is. Like, you can stand back and say, on a grand scheme of things, it looks pretty big. There's like a lot of people involved with it, but it's like high school. Like you hear all of it, and you'll be like, wow.
I mean, it's true. Like there's one specific artist that I've worked with, and I literally, any chance I get, I warn people not to work with this person.
Oh,
and
shit.
That's all I want to say about that.
Hey, you don't need to mention names, but let me know who that person is, so that way
once we're not recording, I will let you know.
Fair enough. I usually, if I call somebody out, I bleep them out. I'll be like, no, nobody will know, and then I'll keep talking shit about that, but nobody will know who am I talking to. But yeah, let me know afterwards, so that way I'll stay away from that person and not ever work with that person at all, you know?
Yeah, because the issue with this person is they steal from other people and think that they're getting away with it. And I'm not talking about like influenced by other people, like straight up fucking stealing. Like cover art, lyrics, melodies, everything, like stealing.
Yo. And I thought we were done about that, but no.
Yeah, but that's all I can say, because anything else will literally give away who it is. So,
hey, man, fuck them, man. Fuck them. Get the middle finger up. Get the middle finger up, man. Let them know. It's like let them know. It's like, hey, we ain't here for your bullshit, man. Come on.
Maybe someday, like once I feel like I can, but not right now.
That's fine, man. But just, you know what? Haters gonna hate, man. Haters gonna hate. Let them hate. You know, something, I was actually talking to somebody about this, and this person, he's a very established person. His name is Robbie. He goes by Infinite. Shout out to him, man. Very cool dude. He tends to stay away from social media, even though his music is just sick. He tends to wait because most of the time he gets like sometimes he gets a lot of hate for certain people. You know, he's like, oh, and he's like, is that same person? And I tell them, Mr. Glass half full right here, you know. I tell him, it's like, yo, if you want to think about it, your biggest hater is probably your biggest fan. Now you may like, where are you going with this? I'm like, hear me out. You got your fans. You got your fans. Everybody's happy with your music. They nothing but positive things. But then you got this one person who's always commenting on everything that you say, everything that you release, everything. It's always negative. Always negative. Oh, you suck. Blah, 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 blah. But this music is trash. Oh my God, I couldn't even listen to the first 30 seconds. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you something about human beings. If you don't like something, you don't look for it.
Right.
You don't deal with it. You just stay away. If I don't like a certain someone, or I don't like this certain music, I don't follow it.
Right.
At all. I just unfollow or tell the algorithm, don't give me more shit about this person. I don't even bother listening to their music. I don't even bother liking or commenting, or like, I just don't want anything. Why is it that if you hate this certain person so much, you keep commenting on every little thing? It's like you wake up and you can't wait until this person says something so you can be the first one to comment. You literally giving the algorithm more push about that person to you and to everyone else who surrounds you.
Yeah.
You're even benefiting the fact for that artist as well. You're even giving him stats, basically. You're giving him the numbers. I hate this song. This song's trash. Okay, you still gave him a number. I don't want to listen to more of this music. Okay, then I'm following. Nah, but this guy sucks. I need to make sure everybody knows that he sucks. It's like, okay, cool. The more you talk about him, the more he's living rent-free in your head.
Exactly.
And then every little thing, you listen to every little thing, you got to criticize it. I'm telling you, your biggest hater can be your biggest fan, because if you hate this person so much, why do you keep talking? Why do you keep commenting? You know, food for thought. Just glass half full. Look at it that way, you know. Now, have you ever experienced, you know, social media hate like that?
No, never.
Everything's been positive, peaches and cream. Well, that's actually good to know, you know?
Yeah, thank goodness. I'm sure it'll come eventually, but I'm not fazed by that stuff.
You grew up in the social media era, or you were, you know, before social media?
Well, I grew up really without. So I was like, in my time, it was like MySpace was just died and Facebook was just becoming a thing. And yeah, like I never had it. Like I just wasn't interested. And so I got everything like later in my life. So yeah, I saw everything, but I never experienced any like hate or anything like that.
That's good. That's good. You know, hey, some people don't experience it, some do, you know, sooner or later, who knows, you know, but it's good that anything that you've experienced so far has nothing been positive, you know, and that you don't get easily sidetracked, you know, for somebody saying like, I hate your music, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, as an artist, when people say that, like you say it doesn't bother you, but deep down it does bother you. You know, I've experienced it before, and I'll be lying to you if I say like, nah, it doesn't bother me. It does a little bit. Like you definitely want to be picking up the phone and just like say something to that jackass, you know? but you know, as humans, we need to be the bigger man. You know, we need to demonstrate an example. But it's always good to talk about this type of stuff, you know, because like, again, circling back to what I said earlier, you know, it's like we are human beings, you know, we have feelings, you know, we're not robots. We're not perfect. we tend to feel certain things and feel in a certain way. And, if someone crosses the line by saying gnarly shit like that, you're gonna feel a certain way. It's, the emotions are gonna run over. It's what you do with it that makes the difference.
Absolutely.
See, when somebody talks smack about me, I do two things. One, I talk about it in the podcast and let the whole world know. I have no filters. I'll tell you right away. Secondly, I express some of that into my music. So it's like if I ever feel like super emotional, like I'll write something emotional. If I feel super angry or upbeat or like pumped, I'll write something like that,
Yeah.
And it's amazing how music can be emotionally driven, that inspires everybody every day, depending on what emotions you go to. Now, so is most of your music like emotionally driven like that?
Yeah. I would say it's all emotionally driven. Everything I write is about something that's happened to me or something that I've been through or that is something that's bothering me or anything like that. I don't know. I find it so easy to write about because, you're the one going through it. So, it's just you basically putting it in song form.
Yeah.
And it's always been easy for me to do it. Now, depending on like what the song is, like sometimes it's hard for me to record it. Because like there was this one song that I wrote called Losing Myself. I can't do it live. Like it makes me emotional, like too emotional to the point where I think I would cry. So
really?
like I don't do it on live sets anymore. Like I took it off. Like that one's definitely one of the more emotional ones. But everything else is just based off of something. Like my new song is based off of being indecisive. The last one before that is about how much people sacrifice in order to look like they're happy on the outside when they're not on the inside. Like every single one is about something different. So I just love, because even like happiness, like or sadness, there's different ways people experience the same emotion. So you can never run out of different ways to talk about it. So,
and let me ask you, like, have you ever, had struggles with your mental health before?
Yes. Not. So like more recently, I've sort of been more aware of it because like when I was growing up, I didn't really know what that whole mental health thing was.
Right.
But it was always better than most people because, my mom raised me to always talk about my feelings and I was always very open and honest. And so I was very in touch with myself. I knew when I was going through something. Like I also wear my heart on my sleeve. So someone can look at me and know what I'm going through or if I'm not into something or if I'm not feeling it. I've always been a very emotionally sensitive person in like in a good way, not like a bad way.
Right.
So like, emotion is like a huge part of my life. And then, mental health, definitely more recently, something I've been taking more care of and have been more aware of and things that I'm finding out about myself in regards to my mental health. So, yeah.
That's actually good to hear, man. I'm happy that you're going on a good journey and a healthy way to discuss it. Not many people are like, I don't know, they're too afraid to talk about these things or they feel ashamed to talk about these certain things, and nobody should ever feel ashamed about talking your mental health or how you're feeling altogether. There should be something that it should be like a normal open discussion about it. I've had it before, I can vouch for any other artist that I've talked to. Like they've dealt their own demons and their own shit in their own ways, But it's something that, we should continue being aware about it and something that we should always like keep an eye when something is not feeling right. Most of the time I know when I'm not feeling right, it doesn't happen anymore. Like, because my whole therapeutic thing is either talking to my fiance or talking to the podcast. That's how I deal with my shit, just talking it through, that communication, it's the best way to do it, and I always tell people, it's like, if you ever feel a certain way, stop what you're doing, stand back, and find something that makes you happy. Find something that you're passionate about, and go do it. Go do it.
Agreed.
Like, there's no other way to tell you, something. Because if you're feeling a certain way and then you're all negative, like, oh, I don't have anything happy, then do something new. Find something new. You never know that kayaking could be very relaxing. You never know until you try.
Right.
Or even when you're skating, or when you're biking, or you're taking your dog out, or having a dog.
Yeah, it could be anything.
It could be literally anything, So it's always important to talk about it, have that discussion up there available, and for anybody who wants to talk about it, always, doors always open to talk about it,
Yeah.
And it's important because it most of the time it's us artists who deal with these scenarios a lot of the times, because we're emotionally attached to these projects, and we're emotionally attached to these music, and we had to demonstrate people like how we feel, like, and there's no way to explain it other than just write it. You said yourself that there's a song that you did that you cannot even sing it anymore because it just gives you a lot of emotions. What's the name of the song, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, it's called Losing Myself. It's on my only EP, the one I put out back in 2019. Yeah, that song was just, it took me like 6 months to record, because every time I would try to sing it, I would just start crying. So it took me a while to be able to do it. I've only performed it live once, and I will never do it again. So, yeah.
I mean, I will consider. I will give my advice. Like, I say, you should go ahead and do it. You should try doing it again, and it's because it shows you that human being you are. Like, it shows like your emotions are being demonstrated, and if your emotions are being demonstrated, the people will resonate with that. They will feel it. They'll get, in some way, they'll feel like, exactly, I know, I get you. I know how you feel. Yeah. People love that. People love that. Maybe you're not right to, maybe you're not, well enough to do it right now, but keep that in that mind later in the future, man. Like, maybe I should actually do this. Maybe on some way I should actually do this, and let the people know how emotional I really am.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure. At some point in the future, I might be fine. Like, I'll be ready to do it again. But I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like right now I'm not in a place where I feel like I need to sing that.
That's fine.
Yeah, but maybe one day.
No, absolutely. One day. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying it because if this is something that people will get familiar and get attracted to it, this is the type of stuff that they'll be like resonating a lot more. It shows you're not a robot.
Yeah.
And we should definitely have that more than anything that's being put out there. Like, you can tell, like you can tell that whether this person actually really did this song or not. They can sing amazingly, but you can tell that it wasn't Dan who wrote them. I mean, when you look at the credits for every track, you can always see like there's like 20 people involved with that one single track. So it's pretty easy now. Do you have anybody else, that helps you do your music, or it's all on you?
Yeah, it's basically all me except for the producers. But I never really have contact with them. I just buy the beat in most cases or work with them depending on who it is. And yeah. So but I don't know. That's just how it's been, mostly because like I don't know anyone, or at the time I didn't have the money. So I just couldn't hire anyone. So I was like, I'll just buy my beats and make them myself. But it's worked. So I have no issue.
So you basically write and sing your own music, but you don't produce, like you don't make the beats.
Right. So initially what I do is, from the beginning, like what I did was I would write the song and I would find I'd literally spend hours and days and weeks finding a beat that would sound exactly or close to what I would want it to sound if I could produce it myself.
Wow, that's actually pretty interesting. You know, a lot of the times people, what they normally would do is that they'll just they'll hear the beat first and then they'll find the inspiration and they'll just write it down and then just like sing it. You actually do it the other way around. You actually just write down whatever you feel like it and then you just search for the beat that's like, oh, that one matches with this.
Right. And I play piano, so I can play everything on my own. So I just find some beat that matches the chords and the sometimes the key if it's like a miracle. But and then just like make sure the vibe is the same and it usually works out. So
I'm curious to this because you play the piano. Have you ever considered yourself of making your own beat or your own songs?
I've tried. I've produced my own covers. I can do that. But I am not good at doing what I want to do because like the music that I want to make, like I don't know how to. I'm not good at engineering like instruments and stuff like that or producing. So I want to wait until I take an attempt at it so I can get better. But it's easier to do covers because with covers, like you're basically just recreating what somebody else already did. So that part is easy, but no, I've never produced one of my own songs except for my song Intro. But that it could have been better. But it was that's the only song that I've ever produced.
I say that because like the way you're describing how you're actually making your music, I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I feel like it's very reliant on others and it kind of slows you down for a bit because you say yourself that it takes you hours, just to find that one beat that matches what you already had without even listening to it, I mean, you can basically cut that in half if you would have, produced your own beats on your own,
Yeah, but like I'm basically sacrificing time for quality. Like I trust the quality that they put out. So I'm like, once I get to a place where I'm better, like I've gotten better, but like I'm nowhere near where I want to be. So I'm like, once I get better, I'll be able to do it myself, but just not yet.
Okay. I'm just saying, because like, at least that's how I see things. I try to like, as a producer and as an engineer, you always want to cut time. Like not cutting corners. Cutting corners and cutting time are two different things,
Yeah.
We all know what cutting corners is. You're trying to take the easy route. Cutting time, however, is, try to have something that's ready to go for us. Instead of spending an hour of try to recreate an entire session, you can, have that time by already having it ready-made template on your own session that all you had to do is just fill up the blanks.
Right.
That's how me and other producers do it. I have in my default settings a template that when I open the program, it pops out this empty skeleton, but it's all I have to do is just fill up the blanks and just go with it and bam. That basically takes away more than half of my time and I can write down music. If I'm heavily focused, it'll take me like a day or two just to have that song, doable for you to listen.
Yeah.
It'll take weeks for me to finish the mixing and the mastering and all that shit and ready to be released if I ever decide to release it. But by having something that's ready to go, so that way you can just cut the middleman in a sense,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm like half there because I do mix and master myself for my vocals.
Good.
So that's easy. And I work so strangely, like I mix as I go. I don't do it at the end, like once I have everything.
That's how I do it. That's how a lot of producers do it. They just do it on the go, They don't wait until the very end. They wait until the very end to see like what's the end result. Is like, okay, does it sound good enough? Okay, we can, just tweak a little things here and there, and then, we're off. Well, that's actually pretty good. I mean, I'm just saying it, like I said, I'm just put it out there, you know, just it's for you, you know, it's for you to kill time, and you know, you can easily write your music very quickly and have them out there as, or have at least a catalog, you know. I have a catalog of songs that you're like, okay, I got this much, you know, which actually gets me to my next topic that I want to talk to you, because I don't, like I said, I don't know much about the indie world, but a lot of the indie producers are independents. They don't rely on labels much. Now, is that in the same case with you, or is it different?
Yeah, no, I'm not signed to a label. So
now, do you prefer to be like that? Do you know why is it better to be like that?
I mean, it all depends on the artist, honestly, because the thing with the label is basically you get, you know, cash advances, and they do marketing, and you get a team, and you get to do all these things, and you just make them the money back. And but the thing is that they take a lot of percentages, and you don't get to see all of your money, and you don't get to keep your masters, and you're just sacrificing for convenience at that point. Right. So that's the only reason why I haven't done anything with a label. And like, I don't want to submit for labels or anything. One, because I want to get to a point where I'm a commodity. Like, I want them to say, oh, like, we want you because, like, you know, you're self-sufficient.
Exactly.
So, yeah. And I think I've been approached by a few, but they were either like super, like, not legit, or I just wasn't interested. Yeah. So I'm just like, no, if you're asking for me, then I'm going in the right direction. So I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and not having anyone take my money.
Hey, you're going in the right direction, man, and I'm proud of you, man. I like to hear, you know, that people are much more mindful about that type of stuff, because believe it or not, but like, dude, like, a lot of people don't see it that way. A lot of people think that, you know, that getting into a label is their ticket to success, you know? And I'm like, sorry to bust your balls, but, you know, getting to a label, not all labels, let me put that disclaimer, not all labels. There's some labels, few that are good ones, that are in it for the community, they're in it for the artists, and they support them no matter what, and they treat you like royalty. You know, there's those few. I can vouch for those. But a grand majority of them, however, they just see you as a quick cash grab, you know? So I'm happy to see that, you know, that you're actually very clear, because like I said, not many people see that. And when they see those advances, they'll be like, holy shit, I'm doing something right. Let's go, you know? Yeah. And that's where everything goes to shit, because that's where you really did not read those contracts right, or you did not give that to a proper lawyer to read those contracts. And that's where later on you'll see, like, oh shit, I should be making a lot of money. I'm not. They're making the most out of it. What? 80%? They get 80% of my music?
Yeah.
And that's me being, you know, thoughtful. 80%. I've heard contracts that labels get 90% of your music, and you only get a mere 10%. Which is like wild to me. It should always be 50-50 no matter what. It don't matter what label or how good it, bro. You could be fucking Sony. It don't matter. A Rockefeller, who gives a shit? Your music is always going to be negotiable 50-50 no matter what. Masters, royalties, everything, 50-50. You settle for 50-50. You don't settle anything less than 50-50. And these motherfuckers, people, you know, signing contracts without reading, and then you wonder why you hear a lot of artists screaming and crying about, oh, my label owes all my masters, and I get paid nothing, you know? And I'm like, yeah, guys, because you saw the advances, which the advances, first of all, an advance is not something that a label gives you for. It's like, you know what, we love you so much that here, have a check of $1 million. It's all yours. That's not $1 million for you to spend on yourself. No, that's $1 million that you're supposed to spend for your music, where you get your, you know, your bookings, your transportations, your marketing, the paying the producers, the engineers, and all those shenanigans That's what the advances are for, because that way you can get your returns back. But people, they immediately see a check like that, they just immediately buy a house without even thinking, or even buy a fucking watches, fucking cars, materialistic shit, and that's where the shit hits the crapper. So I'm very happy to hear that, that you actually see that side, and that you're not like, oh, I decided, I want to go with this. Like, nah. You're doing what you got to do. Sooner or later, people will come and knock you on the door, and you'll be like, man, 50-50, that's it.
Yeah.
Because hey, man, being an independent artist is not easy. It's definitely not the easiest thing, because obviously the labels can do more than half of the job that they can do for you to help improve your career. That being said, if you know the secrets of the label, and you know all the shenanigans and how to market yourself and how to promote yourself and how to expand your music and how to put your music out there, do you really need a label at that point?
Not really, no.
I mean, have you heard of this rapper, Russ? Dude, that guy is self-made.
Yep.
One of the biggest self-made rappers of all. And people may say like, oh, Kanye is. It's like, well, Kanye signed to Rockefeller, when he started up. Oh, Jay-Z is. Jay-Z had to sign with somebody before he started. Like, a lot of people got signed up. Russ was probably one of the biggest, self-made rappers ever, because A, he started from SoundCloud. B, he did music every week. C, the guy didn't need a label to be where he is right now. He found out, he studied the industry. He studied the music, and he knows like, all right, when is the best time to do this? When is the best time to do that and this and that? He found the formula, the blueprint, and that's what's taking him to his success, And look where he is right now. Doesn't rely on labels, and he doesn't have to owe shit on the labels. That's the beauty about it. Like, you don't have to worry about, paying the labels for anything, for anything that you owe them, That's a lot of things that a lot of rock stars, like a lot of rock bands, if you ever wonder why your favorite rock band is doing a tour, most of the time it's because they have to pay their labels, that they owe money. Yeah. Would you ever thought why else do you think fucking Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith and any of these bands are still kicking? Have you ever thought why? Dude,
yeah, it's true.
This whole reunion tours is so they can actually pay off the labels of how much money they owe. They owe millions of dollars, But unless somebody like me who tells them what's up, people would just would never believe it. One of the things I definitely wanted to talk about, like, what has been your favorite project up to now?
Like, out of all my favorites, like all my songs?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I can choose. I would probably say right now, Only I Get Sad, just because it's what kind of started everything for me. Like,
okay.
Where I wanted to go with my sound and what I wanted to talk about in my music. The stuff I put out before that was great and everything, but Only I Get Sad is me kind of like defining everything. So I think it's that one, my song Only I Get Sad.
And how is your creative process? Like, how is it that it gets you into writing these music and then find the right beat? Like, what are the steps out of it? Like, what actually gets you like, okay, let me start writing this down?
Yeah, it's basically I just pick something that I'm going through or something that I did go through that I think would translate really well into a song, or that I think people would want to hear about. And I just start writing. Like, it just comes out of me. Like, I don't really know. It's just a weird thing. I just sit down and start singing or start writing, and it just turns into a song. Like, it's very strange. Like, I don't really have a process.
And how long does it normally take you to finish your projects?
In totality, probably a couple of weeks. Or to like a couple of months, depending on the song and how complex it is. Or, but usually, like, the writing part, like the lyrics and everything like that, is only just like a couple days. Maybe sometimes it's only taken a couple minutes. It depends.
Okay, and you're always willing to work with other people, right? Like, are you into working with collaborations with other artists or producers and whatnot?
I used to not be. One, because I was just scared, but now I am. Yeah, I don't know. But before I used to have like an issue with it. I was really terrified of working with other people. But no, I'm completely open to it. And ever since I've started, I've met the craziest, most awesomest people, and I've done collaborations with people in other countries. That's something I never thought I'd be able to do.
Oh,
yeah, it's really awesome. I'm actually working with a producer in France right now. I literally, right before I was talking to you, I was sending him stems because I guess the files had corrupted or something. So I literally was out at lunch with my friend. I had to book it home and like send it to him because it's like 11 o'clock over there where he is. So I was like, I have to go. This guy in France needs my stuff. And she was like, what? I was like, never mind. So
damn, that's actually pretty dope, man. I wouldn't mind listening to take a crack at some of your stamps or your vocals and take a crack out of it, man. Like, I'm actually in the process of working on a EP as well. And it's actually one of my first EPs that I'll be working towards to. But I take a lot of them in the dubstep realm, but but I'm also doing the whole melodic dubstep. So like I tend to like to use vocals for that area a lot. So I wouldn't mind, taking a crack of some of your vocals. If you have something, I could definitely work around that.
I don't usually have anything that's like down. I just literally just get sent stuff and I'm like, I'll record something and the next day I send it. So
got you. I got you. I got you. So are you definitely willing to try other genres, for you to, to try it out and expands your horizons?
Yeah. I started getting into electronic music lately. The last group I worked with named Ace Taito, they're over in Germany, and we just put a song out back in September. It's already at like 130,000 streams.
Yo, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, the song's doing crazy good. Mostly in Europe, but really I did not expect it to do that well. So that was really cool.
That's cool, man. That's cool to hear, man. Well, definitely keep that in mind. Once I finish my projects, I'll send over some songs and you tell me if you fuck with it or not,
Yeah, for sure.
Now, this is an interesting question that I give to a lot of people that sit down in podcasts. And there's no right or wrong answer with this. Now, do you believe in writer's block?
Yes, because it happens to me a lot. And
So what is it that you do when you get writer's block? What do you do? What is the process of doing it so you can actually get out of the funk?
I just stop writing. I had to walk away. Like, I do not want to push myself because I don't want to do that. I just stop. I'm like, you know what? I'll come back to this later. And that usually helps. So
that's actually pretty good, man. That you took the words out of my mouth, because that's exactly what I was going to say is like, that's like the best way to do with when you got writer's block. And when you're actually walking around, that's where ideas all of a sudden just hit in. Most of the time when you're taking a shower. That's why the whole, funny, joke goes is like, oh, your best ideas comes when you're in the shower.
Yeah, honestly, that's how it is sometimes.
Well, I got 3 more questions and we can wrap this up, my man.
Yeah, for sure. No worries.
So what has been up to this point? What has been your greatest accomplishment?
I don't know. My manager always tells me how bad I am with acknowledging my success. So I don't really pay attention to things.
Imposter syndrome.
Yes, major.
Yeah.
I usually just like go, oh, that's cool. I make a post about it and then I move on. And like, I don't really take time to celebrate the little things, which I'm working on. But yeah, I don't know. What would be the biggest thing right now?
I mean, it could be from a song like what we just talked about not too long ago. A song that you collaborate with somebody is already 100,000 plays, which is fire. Could be from you performing at a certain place and you were like, holy shit, this place was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of them. But now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably having, I hate calling them fans, but like having, listeners and fans, because people are actually commenting on my stuff and they're engaging with me. Like they're on my YouTube videos. I have people going, wow, this is great. Or wow, it made me feel like this. Or I get messages from people going, this song helped me through that. Like, I forgot who it was. I think I got a message from one of my friends, and she was at a party and she played one of my songs to one of her friends who was having an anxiety attack, and they were fine. And I was like, that's crazy. So that it's like the things like that. So
that's fire. That's fucking fire to hear, man. I'm happy to hear that.
Thank you. Yeah, I love those things. So I think that's probably my favorite out of anything.
That's fire, man. What are you currently doing? What do you hope to accomplish by it?
What do I hope to accomplish? Did you say in 5 years?
In a span of whatever time, here to now.
I definitely want to learn how to produce better, so I can start doing things on my own.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely want to start learning more. I'm learning, I guess. Like I learn new things every day, every month. Like, just a few days ago, I learned something new about marketing that I didn't know. Like I was going down a rabbit hole of studying about marketing and learning about how, I think the average attention span right now for social media is 7 seconds. So like,
yes, I've heard of that. Yeah.
It was crazy. Like I watched this whole seminar and I was like, wow, this is nuts. So, and if you notice too, like a lot of the way artists have been marketing their stuff is in really short form content because people don't pay attention. Like they will not watch documentaries. They're not going to watch long videos. They're not, unless it's like, the only things people watch that are long are like either podcasts or movies. Like that's like the only thing. Everything else, like nobody cares, like point blank. So, we just got to switch up the way we do things and flex with what's happening in the industry or with people who are listening. So
that's very true though. And something that we learn as well, that, for a song, in order for somebody to grab attention, it has to be like in the first 5 seconds. If you didn't grab them in the first 5 seconds, then you lost them, so it's most of the time for dubstep producers. It doesn't have to be necessary in my genre, but in other genres, you have to have something in those few seconds for them to be like, ooh, what's this? Oh, let me hear a little bit. And once you got them, that's like, oh, that's it. You got them. So yeah, absolutely. I agree with that whole marketing tip. The first 7 seconds. Yep, that's how you do it, man. That's how you do it. One last question, and we can wrap it up after this, man. Let's just say that you're walking down the street, and all of a sudden, a UFO comes out of nowhere, and then aliens pop out, and they say, "Yo, David, we need your help, man, because you and only you can do this." And you'll be like, "All right, bet, let's do this," And it's like, "All right, but before you go, just so you know, you'll be out for a while. We don't know when you're going to come back. Here's a piece of paper. Write 3 pieces of advice that you will give to someone. What are those 3 pieces of advice?"
And this would be for the aliens?
This is for anybody. The aliens are giving you the paper, and you just write down 3 pieces of advice that you'll give it to someone else. When they walking down, they pick up the paper and they be like, "This is from David. Here's some advice from work, music, life, in general, whatever." What would you give them? What would the advice that you give to someone?
Well, first thing is one thing that I've definitely learned recently that I taught myself and learned at some point was not to obsess over so much about what someone thinks who isn't really that nice to you or isn't that conducive to your mental health or to who you are as a person, because you're probably thinking more about them than they think or care about you.
Right.
So it's not worth, obsessing about what they think about or where they are or what they think about you. So obviously that my first one would be not to obsess about people who just aren't worth your time. And then the second thing would be to question everything, because I don't believe anything is sacred. I think everything deserves to be criticized. Everyone deserves to be, asked questions, and everyone deserves to understand everything. And if someone tries to, you know, stop you from trying to learn about something, if someone tries to tell you that something's not worth looking into, or something's, you know, I hate when people try to block you from something or say something. Well, it's like, yeah, that's untouchable, or we can't talk about that. I'm like, no, anything can be talked about, anything can be asked. So ask all the questions, you know, talk about anything with everyone. That's how you grow and learn. And you know, usually the people who don't know anything are the ones who don't make it. So in any aspect, not just music. And then the third, I guess, just live life to the fullest. It sounds stupid, but so many people don't. Like, life is so fucking short, and people are so quick to just like do what everyone else is doing instead of doing what they want to do, that they, you know, next second you're 80 and you're just like, God damn, I didn't do a single fucking thing I wanted to do. And I refuse to live my life like that. Like, if I get an opportunity, I'm taking it. Like, if someone says you want to go here and it's like 12 o'clock in the morning, it's like, fuck yeah, let's go to the beach at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, I'm not gonna, when am I gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna die tomorrow. Like, I don't know if an asteroid's gonna come and hit me, or, you know, those aliens that are gonna take me away. Like, I don't know. So like, you know, do everything that you can, and like, you know, help anyone you can, talk about whatever you want to talk about while you have the time and the opportunities to do it, because life is so short. Like, think about it. Look at how old you are and think about the moment you were born. Like, that's already gone. Like, you literally only have like 3 more segments up until the end. So it's like, just live your life, man. Like, just, you know, live your life to the fullest.
That's actually pretty good, man. That's pretty good, man. Well, David, thank you so much for coming over to the show, man. It was an honor and privilege for you to have a sit down with me and have this nice conversation, man.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk more after this as well. So.
Absolutely. We'll stay in touch, man. Before we go, plug yourself out. Let the people know where they can follow you and what they can expect from you next.
Yeah, my name's David Diaz. You can find me on Instagram at David Diaz Music. You can find me on Facebook, David Diaz Music Official, even though nobody goes on Facebook anymore. And then YouTube, it's David Diaz Music as well. I'm also on TikTok, and I'm trying to get better at it. But yeah, and Spotify, all the streaming platforms, I'm like one of the only active David Diaz's. You'll see my face. So yeah, and I have a lot of music coming out soon. Some cool projects that I'm working on, some collaborations with different artists and producers. So I expect a lot of stuff coming soon.
Dope, man. Thank you very much, man. Thank you for coming over to the show. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And remember, every week is a brand new episode with a brand new topic. So always remember to like and subscribe for your weekly episodes at the Lone Wolv Podcast for SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and of course the YouTube channel at the Lone Wolv Podcast, or even lonewolvpod.com. That's lonewolv pod.com, where you can check all my latest episodes. Also, you can check the audio version at any of the other platforms that I've mentioned at Wolves and Music or the Lone Wolv Podcast. Comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts. Share your experiences. If you guys got a specific topic that you want me or David to talk about, please let us know in the comments down below, and we'll do our best to cover it on the next episode. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys at the next one. Peace.